if we're trying to see our true self, we should look at Jesus, who's actually the best example of what our true selves would look like. We would be variations on that because we don't have all the elements he had, probably. Cumulatively, we would be. I mean, between you and me and
everybody else.
Yeah. But we're not looking for that for each other. We're actually looking for what other people are doing wrong. And so Paul tells Titus, teach the older women not to be diabolos, not to be devils, which look at other people and say, what you're doing wrong is the true self. But to live according to the Spirit, look at other people and go, you know, who you are in the Spirit is your true self. Your brain just doesn't know how to do that yet. And we're going to help you find it and live that way. And, you know, it's going to be somebody you've never been before. And whenever I have people do that for me, or I have a chance to do that for them, an attachment builds between us. It's like, I want to go back and see the one. It's kind of interesting. I had a lady who had no belief in God at all. And she came in to see me as a counselor and said, you know, well, I got to, what I do is I pose in the nude. So I'd love to swap these nude pictures of me for counseling experience, you know, because I don't have a lot of cash. It was an interesting offer right there because she knows what men are into, right? I mean, it's obviously got active market. We decided on a different form of payment. And we never talked about God. This is a secular person coming in for counseling. Eventually, she recovered rather nicely, whatever she was suffering from. And I told her, well, okay, this is good. You know, you've graduated essentially. Now you get on with your life. And she looked at me and she said, yeah, I know. But where else would I come to see how God sees me in the world? And that was very touching because the first time God had ever passed her lips. But suppose that's what we're here for.
Wow. So that's radical. So basically you're saying that we are here to help the world see how God views them.
Yeah. Which means when Jesus says you'll be my witnesses. Now, witness in that point didn't mean people who are theologically astute. It meant people who could see what God sees, see where God is in the middle of this. And in the Last Supper, Jesus says to the disciples, from now on, people will not be able to see me. Only those that love me, who have an attachment to me, will be able to see me. And this alarms the other Judas, not Iscariot. How's this going to be? You know, how can we see you when other people can't? But maybe that's what we're doing. We're witnesses. We see in the world what God sees, but other people can't see.
Are we then, in doing evangelism, are we asking people to, because we want to attach to Jesus, we want to be these witnesses for him. Are we then showing other people that God loves them, but we're also asking them to abandon their sinful identities?
Yeah, well, let's talk about the story of the first missionary, which Jesus comes into the Samaritan town at noon. And so he sends his 12 missionaries into town, and they come back with McDonald's or whatever they came back with. But he talks to the one woman from the town, and she runs into town and tells, come and meet the man that told me everything I ever did. Must this not be the Messiah? Because he saw something else in her, not because he didn't see everything she'd ever done, but he saw a missionary in her, and she brought the whole town to them, and Jesus couldn't get out of town for days. You know, isn't that what he wanted when he sent the 12 in? Because he said, this is what I feed on. This is life. This is, you know, this is what we're looking at. And so, yeah, when evangelism, is it not to go and tell other people God sees a child of God in you, where you've only seen your status coming from this lowly thing, or whatever you perform well, or a status that you can never overcome because of what all you've done. So it isn't blindness to what people have been that causes transformation. It's the seeing in them someone that's never been seen before. Someone who would be a child of God on this hill or any hill, because you worship God in your heart and you say, yeah, who he says I am is the real me, not who I've been up until now.